Hello Gracie, so I'm going to go through my solution to that question, but don't be put off by some of the stuff on here. So I literally worked through the question for you, and what I did is I applied the skills that I kind of teach my students, as you will learn as you work with me, and that is, well, look for patterns is the key thing. So first of all, part A, I know you've done this anyway, but I literally just worked through it, expanded the brackets, and so we know from part A that something, take away 1 over that something, notice the language I'm using. If I square that, I get whatever that something is squared, plus 1 over that something squared, take away 2. Okay, did that fine, no problem at all. Then the second part was, and I'm just, don't worry too much about that. I thought I'd do this as a detailed explanation on my website later on, because I'm always looking for content anyway. So if I'm doing it for a student, I might as well record it and smart it up a bit. So again, part B was very much about, you had to write it in the form of p plus q root 2. So there's no denominator there. It has to be rational, aka no denominator. So to do that, we rationalise the denominator. So once you've simplified that, you get that answer, which again, Gracie, you did absolutely fine. Now, the wording of the question says something like, let me just cover that up now. It says, using parts A and B, show that blah, 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 whatever it says. So whenever you get a situation like that, Gracie, this is the key thing for you. You've got to look for patterns, because there will be something in the question that's represented somehow like this. There'll be something in there like that. Or, because it says you're using both parts, there'll be something in there that's like, if I square something where I've got something, take away 1 over something, these, notice that R, it's the same. So that is going to be the same as that. So you've got to look in your question and think, well, have I got something that I've got an expression, take away 1 over that expression? And then you're trying to kind of match things together. So going back to over here, so looking for patterns. So when you look at that question and it's asking you to show that, you've got to show it's equal to 2, haven't you? The key thing is, I'm not even fussed about that right now. When it says use what's in parts A and B, I'm looking at what I've been given. And I'm saying, right, okay, well, does that look like anything that I've already had? Well, if you notice that you've got something, take away 1 over that something, where it's in that same pattern, okay? So, once you've identified that, you're on to a winner, okay? So, now, as I was working through this, I don't really know which way it's going, and I'm going to be honest with you, and it's the same with probably any A-level tutor, higher level, degree level maths, is that we do things such as we look for patterns to see if it kind of forms that pattern, and then let's say, right, okay, so let's substitute in this into what we've already learnt, that R minus 1 over R. Well, I know that when I square it, I can have something in this form, okay? So I know what R is, because I identified that R is 3 plus 2 root 2. I've identified I've got this thing I need. I've got this pattern that I've already done something of in part A. So if I can represent that using the R bit, then, let's see where it takes me, okay? So the next part was, and this is all just me working through it in quite a small step-by-step way for you, Gracie, is if I square it, I get that. We've already done that in part A. So what I did was, well, let's substitute in R as being 3 plus 2 root 2, square root of, okay? So I'm going to substitute that into this rule, all right? Now, that is meant to be, oh no, it isn't. So, that's meant to have a square root there, okay? So all I've done is put R into that formula and thought, well, if I square it, I know I'm going to get something in that form. So I'm just going to substitute the r equals 3 plus 2 root 2, square root of, into there. Okay, so when I've done that, I've just again taken the r, and what I tend to do a lot of, Gracie, is I use a lot of colour. Because I've done this reasonably quickly for you, because I got distracted, I haven't done that as much as I normally would. So all we're doing here is we're substituting in r into here, and then into there. So we know in our answer we've got whatever r is, squared, plus 1 over r, and that's r, squaring it, and then take away 2. We've already done that. You get a lot of things like this in A-level maths and degree level maths. You know, it's about identifying those patterns, and it comes with experience. Okay, so wonderful. So we've done that. So I'm now going to show you what I kind of started going down. So I thought, well, if I square it, it cancels out the square root. So when I square this, you're squaring a square root. So that basically cancels out the square root, and you end up with 3 plus 2 root 2, which is there on the next page. Then again, you've got, you're squaring a square root, so the square root goes. So you're left with just that 3 plus 2 root 2, and then you've got that minus 2. So you get that. So then you would go back to the question and think, right then, what is it that we've got to aim for? And this is where I'm now going to show you what I've done and what really helps me, and it also helps a lot of students. So I'm just going to put these out here because I did this with my card. Card and coloured card for me is an absolute game changer because it helps to kind of split my thoughts out in different ways. So we've got, that's what we've got to show. All right, that was what we were given to start with. So, oh, okay, where did I go with this one now? Oh, yeah. I put all these new bits of cards on my desk, but then I put other bits that I don't actually need. So we used what we learnt from part A, and I know that because that's in the form 1r minus 1 over r squared, I was able to rewrite it like that. Okay, that's what we've literally just done. I know it's a bit wonky. Let me just neaten that up a little bit there. Okay, so we've just done that bit. Now, don't worry about the X bit for now. So, but then if you have a look at, it says to talk about use part A and part B. So far we have used, let me get the other bit of paper for you. We've used this part, haven't we? We said it, we recognised the pattern, so we substituted R into that formula. But we haven't used part B yet, okay? So this is the point where I'm looking at that and thinking, right, what else have I been given? Or can I rewrite this in a different way that's going to get me closer to what I need at the beginning, okay? So I haven't used part B. So, well, part B was that, going back to it, 1 over 1 plus 2 root 2 can be written as 3 minus 2 root 2, because we've already done it. So then it's a case of, oh, is there something like that in my question that I've got to so far that I can replace, substitute with that? Because maths is all about trying to make our life easier, okay? So, from part B, let me move that up a little bit now. So from part B, we know that 1 over 3 plus 2 root 2 is equal to that. So if we were to substitute that into this is what the X was. Now, if we look in here what I got to so far, we'd got 1 over 3 plus 2 root 2. Well, I know that I can rewrite that as this because I did it in part B. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this bit into there. Okay? Again, I've done this step by step. And again, having the cards really helps. Let me just move that back a little bit. Just move it down just slightly. Because again, I've done that in a different colour because that's what we're aiming for. So again, I've looked at what I've got here. I realised that actually part B I can replace I can rewrite the 1 over 3 to root 2. They're a mouthful, aren't they? So you have to be so careful when you're writing things out as well, Gracie, because I think I dropped a negative sign as I was doing this the first time. So all I've done is replaced that with that, and I've got that. Okay, quick reminder, well, what was I aiming for? Yeah, lovely. So look at what you've got and think, well, can I write that in a different way? One of the things I talk about a lot, especially for GCSE, but it's exactly the same for A-level and degree level maths, is very much about what maths can I do with that? Well, I can simplify that, and I'm sure the level of maths that you are doing, hopefully you'll be able to see that. So all I've done is I've just literally, don't worry about that 6, because I did it by hand, I didn't use a calculator. I just thought, well, 3 plus 3 gives me 6. I've got a plus 2 root 2 and then a minus 2 root 2. They cancel. And then I've got a take away 2. So I've got 6, take away 2, which gives me 4. So let's summarise where we've got so far. So we've done, I need to move this up a bit now. If you need to rewind back, I'm going to move some of this out of the way now, just so I've got space on my visualizer. So we know that what we found so far is when I square it, I put it into the form of the r minus 1 over r squared, whatever, and I get an answer of 4, because that's what I've just got to. What is it we were aiming to get? Bringing it down from the top. We needed to show that root 3 plus 2 root 2. Take away that is equal to 2. What have we got? We've got that whole thing squared is equal to 4. So how am I going to go from there to there? Well, they're very, very similar, aren't they? The only thing that's different is that that is squared to make that. So to go from here to here, I need to take a square root. Take the square root of that, I have to do the square root of both sides, so I get 2. So to go from there to there, you basically take the square root and then you get to your answer. I hope that all makes sense for you. Obviously I can talk through these in real time anyway, so if you need, I'm just going to be popping out briefly now anyway. But the key thing is looking at what you've been given, summarising it, and then looking for patterns. So there had to be something in the question that looked like this. It's already guided you towards, well, I can rewrite this as this, because I had to do it for part A or B. You're also looking for something that's in the form something take away 1 over that something. And I know that when I square that, I get, because I did it for part A, I get that, because I've already done it. So look for patterns, substitute things in, and then just think, what maths can I do with what's in front of me? Good luck for your exam tomorrow. There is still time if you want to drop me any messages or anything, ask any other questions. But yeah, hope that all helps. You take care. Bye-bye.